What up? What up? What up? Give me a Lima Charlie if you can hear me loud and clear, man. Hopefully everybody's having a good one. Let me know what's going on. Of course, we have some interesting stuff going on. It is some interesting things going on. Of course, I'm pretty sure everyone has heard the news by now in regards to the strike, the preemptive strike done by Israel on Iran, and what that could just mean overall. So let's see. I found it interesting that, the U.S. is definitely, I feel like the U.S. has definitely got some things that we knew about beforehand. Hey, appreciate it, Tater Dom saying with the Lima Charlie. Appreciate that. SK's in the building as well. What up? Hopefully y'all are having a good one. Latin Doggy's in the building. Give me a Lima Charlie. Appreciate that. A Bentley is up in the building as well. Everything I'm carrying today is above my head. I found this stuff interesting. I was actually making a video about if you get yourself caught up in a protest, the type of stuff you should have on you, whether it's your pepper, gel, your knife, all that type of stuff. And then I look up and I see that there's strikes are happening. There's strikes are happening in regards to Israel kind of being a preemptive strike in regards to just everything that's going on. I just find it, I don't know. Let's just talk about some stuff that I'm carrying, and we'll get over in regards to just some of this news that's going on with Israel and Iran. And I've seen some folks in the comments that were talking about the video that I posted today, and folks have some good points, man. And just, folks kind of just talking about, you can kind of understand what they meant by that, and it was predictable. And matter of fact, I'll put this up. So we'll put this up for a second, man. So I talked about this earlier. I mean, a lot of folks had a lot of different things in regards to say about this. So this is a video I posted earlier. Stoney says, "Hey man, I was there in 2011 as well, in the Helmand province, or the Helmand Kandahar border. Glad you're doing well. Former Marine security guard. Now Israel struck Iran." So folks are already putting those comments on there, letting it be known. Some folks are saying, "Yeah, about time. Israel been fucking around for too long." Let's see. People telling me about their time on the Iwo Jima. Okay, I was on the Iwo Jima for a good chunk of time. So it's just crazy because the AP, some of these folks that are out here like with the news that are giving the most, it's like some obscure people that I follow on Twitter, specifically that are in Iran, and they're posting. So these are like Iranian Student News Association, and they have access to Twitter. Everybody in Iran doesn't have access to Twitter, but they just show pictures of their SAR teachers complex, and this is on fire. So obviously it's becoming the next day over there in the Middle East area. So they got buildings on fire there. Apparently there is, I don't know if Iran was like ready for this attack, because according to some of the news that I'm seeing is like some of their key players within their military and their science branch, literally have been taken out. Literally have been taken out. The head of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, according to reports, gone. I don't know if he was specifically a but they do have General Hassan Soleimani. They said that he's gone. They said the former chief scientist for the nuclear program, gone. Senator Marco Rubio says that the U.S. had nothing to do with this. It was a unilateral attack. The U.S. was not involved in this. But you got to remember that in the recent days, the U.S. did start pulling diplomats. I have a buddy he's in the Navy. He is stationed in Bahrain, and they permitted his wife to leave. And the crazy thing is that his wife was leaving on a MAC flight, like a military flight. And it was just so booked up. Normally those military flights are either free or they're $10, depending on your status. So imagine like being able to fly wherever you want in the world on a MAC flight for $10. And they said it was crazily difficult to get out of there. Let me see what this is. I know it's an ad. I don't want to see an ad. So Reuters, so both wire services are coming up with some of the fastest news. So whether it is Reuters or it's the AP, these are people already starting to gather in the streets of Tehran. Israel has already declared a state of emergency. I don't know if they're just expecting a retaliatory attack. I'm not sure why they've already done that. But Al Jazeera is also, they're keeping like minute by minute on this stuff as well. Senator Lindsey Graham is like saying like game on. I don't want to get drug into this whole thing in the Middle East. Like that's one thing that kind of concerns me as well. It's just like sometimes war hawks are just too goddamn hawkish for me, bruh. They're too damn hawkish for me. Some people are just like game on and they seem excited about it. Here's some more attacks that came on here. Hold on. I don't know what they're saying. I'm imagining they're saying, man, they fucked our shit up, bro. But no, in all seriousness, like, you know what's so crazy, guys? Think about what it means to have struck. Think about what it means to have struck Iran and you are in Israel. Israel's over here near the Mediterranean Sea. I don't know if they had to get permission or if they said F it. Or if they just have such long range missiles that they were able to fly around certain countries. They have to their east, they have Jordan. Jordan and Israel are divided by the Jordan River, the same river where the Jesus baptismal site. Jordan River feeds into the Red Sea. Super duper religious place, historic place. And then north of them is Lebanon and Syria. Lebanese news correspondents are all on the ground with all sorts of reports and stuff that's going on. And then you got to go over Iraq. Did they get permission from Iraq to fly missiles over their land? Like, how does that work? Think about this, man. Like the U.S. had enough foresight to pull non-essential personnel out of the region. And I know that the deals, the talks to actually wind down the nuclear program just fell apart. It just fell apart, according to state media, state news for Iran, and of course, obviously with Israel for them making that strike. I mean, you had to go over Iraq to hit different places. Tehran is in the northwest. They're also hitting key areas in Iran in the far northwest where there are nuclear sites where they're enriching uranium. They're hitting and taking out key players within the country. Here's the entire region. Like the entire region has U.S. military personnel all over the place. Like all over the place. Like so if we zoom in here, I was in Bahrain for a while. So the U.S. personnel have been pulled out of Bahrain. They have folks that are in Qatar. Folks have been pulled out of there. We have some troops that were in Saudi Arabia. If you were non-essential, it's already weird to be stationed on the eastern part of Saudi Arabia anyway, but they have non-essential folks being pulled out. And that includes people that are in like Amman, Jordan, that are in Aqaba, that are in King Al Assad Air Base, that is in Jordan as well. And so like we already got stuff going on with the Suez Canal, which bleeds from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea, key port where a bunch of pirates are always over there doing stuff. And we're pulling people out of our embassies and non-essential personnel all over the region. I was in Eritrea. I was in Djibouti. I was in Bahrain. And a lot of these things resonate. I could only imagine being in Amman, Jordan, and being one of those troops that are told, hey, get your ass back to the goddamn Red Sea. Like, you need to get back down there. So the crazy thing is like, this is not like the first time this year that there's been like attacks on one another when it comes to this whole region thing. So for one thing is Iran did send drones and did send missiles towards Israel's way in April, but the Iron Dome of Israel just banged the phone on their bitch ass. Nothing got through. And Israel did do a retaliatory strike, but they just did one strike. And that was kind of all in like April. Like nothing else really went down. It says Iraqi airspace has been shut down in Iran. MiG-29 send them as okay. Yeah, so that's the thing. It's just like Iraq doesn't have their own version of an Iron Dome. So you may not have permission to fire over their country, but I think Israel will say, hey, yeah, we don't care, bro. A lot of stuff going on Twitter as well, man. The attacks, Israel has declared a state of emergency. Benny Johnson is reporting out. Just in Iran attacks Israel. Of course, they're coming up with the same video clips. I want to know what it looks like as they get further into their morning over there. You saying that they gave notice to seek shelter to all Americans in Israel. I can imagine that. So the commander in chief of Iran's Revolutionary Guard, Hassanami. I'm going to mispronounce a lot of this stuff, guys, because it is what it is. I guarantee they're going to mispronounce a lot of American names, and I'm going to fuck up some goddamn historically Middle Eastern names. Okay, I'm going to fuck it up. I'm going to try my best, though. Has been confirmed assassinated by the Israeli airstrike. Assassinate is a strong word, bro. Assassination would lead you to believe like they were gunning for him. Would lead you to believe like they were going for him. I don't know. Like, what does this mean for the region? Apparently, President Trump is going to be convening the National Security Council tomorrow in the Situation Room. Like, why are they waiting until tomorrow? I guess. Let's see. Situation Room. President Trump. I don't know. They're saying they're not going to be convening until tomorrow. And I'm not really sure why the wait. I guess they got to get their sleep. I'm trying to see what's on the president's schedule for tomorrow. I am on their website. Yeah, I don't see it on there, but well, let's see. So statement from Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Tonight, Israel took unilateral action against Iran. We are not involved in the strikes against Iran, and our top priorities are protecting the American forces in the region. Israel advises that they believe that it's action necessary for self-defense. President Trump and the administration have taken all necessary steps to protect forces and remain in close contact with our regional partners. Interesting. So, to my understanding, the only thing on the president's schedule tomorrow is the Situation Room. So, I mean, I know it's like 10 something in the, I know it is 10 something in the or it's like what, 22, almost 22:30 in the evening over there. But I'm kind of like, you know, so that's what they got right here. Tomorrow, 11 a.m., the president attends a national security meeting. He has one thing on his schedule for tomorrow. And they're intending to meet tomorrow in the Situation Room. Now, my question, what do you guys think? I mean, like, if we had nothing to do with it, we've already told some of our key personnel to pull out of the area. We're trying to protect our troops. I mean, if Israel has an Iron Dome, we got to have like the a chastity belt. You hear me? If Israel has the Iron Dome, we got the chastity belt for the region when it comes to our personnel and troops. What do you think they're talking about in the Situation Room tomorrow? What do you think the conversation is tomorrow? So tomorrow it's closed to the press. In the morning, in-town pool. So they're going to have a small gaggle in the morning before that. And I wonder what that conversation is going to be about. U.S. embassies evacuated. So like I said, this is not, I can't read. Obviously, I can't read the language, but they are posting like some of the most relevant pictures because they are in Iran and they have access to Twitter. So they're giving us live photos of what is looking like right now in Tehran or in the northwest part of Iran itself. Building. Now, this looks like a residential building. I'm not a brainiac, right? I'm not like a brainiac, but this doesn't look like a a nuclear site. But I mean, maybe that's where the Revolutionary Guard commander was getting his snooze on. He might have been knocked out right there, So they're confirming that he is dead. Let's translate this post. It says unconfirmed news of, oh my gosh, they got to use the martyrdom. Of course, this is coming from Iran, so they got to put that on there. That this is on the bottom left. That is the former chief scientist for the nuclear program. So they're saying that they have 4 assassinations that were executed, according to this student news agency in Iran. So my question is just like, if we're getting these reports, this is their state media, which I don't know how to translate that. But if we're getting these reports live from inside of the country, like what I'm nervous about is like, what does retaliation mean? What does it mean for kinetic action in the region? What does it mean for cyber attacks? Are they going to be pissed off at America, like because we weren't able to contain Israel? We also provide Israel with a whole bunch of the weaponry that they use. Al Jazeera seems to be having some of the most up-to-date reporting on this. So Iranian American advocacy group denounces Israel deadly strikes against Iran. All right, good for them. Israel media reports multiple assassinations on the Iranian strike. So now Israel is reporting these assassinations. They have freaking intelligence on the ground, right? They got to have some intelligence on the ground. They're saying a leader, like as mentioned before, the leader of the top Iran's Revolutionary Guard. They said they took him out. Iran closes its airspace, so no planes are now allowed to fly over Iran. So if you're a commercial aircraft that normally you would take a shortcut over Iran, imagine that you're coming from there's not too many commercial aircrafts coming out of Afghanistan, but Pakistan, UAE that may be heading north. All these STAN countries, I'm imagining they don't have the most robust airspace anyway. Any of the stands, so Turkmenistan, Afghanistan. I'm imagining they don't have the most anyway. So, but they closed their airspace. So even if you were on your way somewhere else further east in another part of Asia, you can't fly over there. And Iran is big AF. So let me see any update reports here. The crazy thing about it is, hold on, let me go back here. That's one thing I did see is apparently I've heard unconfirmed reports in regards to the president of Iran as well, but I don't have any confirmation of that. I don't know how true that would be. So Nick Fuentes is saying the same thing. He's saying that Israel is officially attacking Iran. They're trying to drag the U.S. into yet another one of their wars. Never forget who's responsible for this. Who the hell's responsible for it, Dick? Who's responsible for it? Yeah, I don't really rock with Nick Fuentes too much, but I can partially agree with I'm nervous about the U.S. being drawn into kinetic action in the Middle East once again, bro. That shit is exhausting. I went to so many countries in the Middle East. Think about, I don't like using terminology like World War III. On this channel, I like to talk about SHTF, prep, things you can do for your family. But I can't ignore the obvious things that have been going on for like the last 4 years. And then it comes to a head today. Russia and Ukraine, Pakistan and India, that seems to have calmed down for now. Israel and Iran in 2019. And then Israel and Iran in April of this year. And now Israel and Iran again in June of this time frame. So it's kind of like it's kind of like it makes me nervous and then we're moving our personnel out of the region. We're moving our warships to the southern border for support for the drug cartels and stuff like that. But is that exactly what the deal is? I'm not sure. So one thing they're saying is that dozen of their Air Force jets completed the first stage of the included strikes of dozen of military targets. So where the heck do they launch Israeli Air Force jets from? Do they have the capacity to fly from Israel to Iran? Are they being launched from this sea to the north? Are they being launched from the Persian Gulf or the Arabian Gulf near Kuwait? Like that's a long ass flight. I mean, everybody has different things that's going on, but and Chris says war has already begun, says Caesar. I mean, some people could say that. Some people can say that. I just don't want us to be included in it. Colin says, X, I need a do-it-all kind of fixed blade knife, quality steel, 5 to 7 inches, around $200. 5 to 7 inches. I would look for something from Bradford Knives. I don't know if they have anything 5 to 7 inches, but I would say Bradford or something from Gerber. Let me see some of y'all comments before I go on and continue looking at some of the stuff that they got going on here, man, because I'll pull up AP and see if I'll pull up Al Jazeera while I'm reading some of y'all's comments to see if they give any more live reports. Israel says that it had dialogue with the U.S., but attack was independent decision. We no longer are able to tell our nephew to sit down. I mean, listen, I'm an uncle, right? I'm an uncle. So I'm 39 years old. Y'all call me Unc. I got real, I got real like, yeah, I'm seeing SC Cold Steel. Yeah, I can agree with that as well. But at what point are you no longer able to say, hey, nephew, sit down for a second, man? Hey, nephew, sit down. Let me holler at you. At a certain time, your nephew don't give a fuck what you saying, man. Israel's UN ambassador, Danny Danon, that's a tongue twister, has said his country is holding ongoing dialogue with Washington, but its decision to strike Iran was an independent Israeli move. It just kind of makes me feel icky inside that we support Israel, whether through direct arms from our defense contractors or through money to the tune of millions of dollars a year. And I feel like we should have more influence on independent strikes that could have us being brought in there, man. I feel like we should have more say on independent strikes that might have us being brought in there. But maybe we don't have that type of juice. Maybe we don't have that type of juice. It is concerning to me. Let me see if these folks have done any update here. Oh, they've already done their memorial to the commander. Sarhin Islam, Major General, Commander-in-Chief of the Revolutionary Guard, was martyred, so they say, in Iran. What do you think this, like, when it comes to the motivation? These are students. This is a student news agency. This is the ISNA, a student news agency in Iran that has access to Twitter, who's posting that stuff that they're getting from their state news agency. Spit your bars, bro. I understand y'all are upset, but what do you think that means for the region? The one thing I'm concerned about is, like, we are deploying Marines around the country. We got folks that are going all over the place around the country for the purposes of controlling protesters. And for me personally, the thing I was taught was that Marines are first to fight. Like, I don't like the opportunity cost that's lost by sending Marines around the country. I mean, they're sending Marines through civilian encounter training right now to figure out how to better encounter civilians in America and not completely go straight McMap mode on them, Marine Corps martial arts mode on them. But a judge did just intervene and says, judge says Trump illegally deployed National Guard to help with LA protests, must return control. This is going to be appealed. This is going to be appealed. This is at the district level. This is at the district level. President Trump must return control of the to the Governor Newsom of California, control of the National Guard troops that are a part of the California National Guard. according to this judge. The order, which takes effect noon tomorrow. You know they're going to appeal this shit before tomorrow at noon. Listen, me personally, I hear what this district judge is saying. My opinion about this is like, man, I think this should be stayed. And I really think this needs to be litigated. I think the National Guard should be permitted to stay, because I think, to my understanding, they're mostly protecting federal buildings. I need more reporting on this. And it doesn't necessarily I agree with the fact that they were deployed, but I do believe he's the commander-in-chief. And sometimes the commander-in-chief be commander-in-chiefing. And so I kind of feel like this should be stayed by the appeals court. But that's the 9th District, and they're it's a little left over there, okay? It's a little left over there in the 9th District. So we look here. Oh, let me mute this because I don't want to see the ad. But for me personally, I'm thinking about, like, what is the opportunity cost loss when we're sending troops around the nation for different stuff like that. Let's take a look at this. Oh, there's no volume. We just see the photos. Look at the strikes. This is at 03:24 in the morning. 03:24 in the morning. They're putting it down like that. So the biggest, let me see if Reuters has any updates as well. Israel says strikes Iran amid nuclear tensions. We do know that the talks broke down. These are regular National Guardsmen. These aren't Marines here. And these aren't Marines here. But I am curious. Hold on. Israel. Oh, you know who I want to see who has good reporting on this? Most likely. Yeah, let me see what he's got going on real quick. Hold on. This is Agenda Free TV. He's real good at like Middle East coverage and stuff like that. But I think he's on his research yet. What's interesting, bro?
Hang on.
What's interesting, bro? All right, we'll get back to him in a second. But hold on. While we're waiting for him, let me pull up some of y'all's chat. Edward says, what the fuck, bruh? Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, the ballistic missiles they got from China. I mean, according to this, though, unless those ballistic missiles were launched from jets, I don't think jets can launch ballistic missiles. Those are big as hell. I love salami. You know, it's so crazy because Brian, I can agree with this. Israel targeting high commanders in Iran Revolutionary Guard. It disrupts a lot. They're attacking these high commanders in the Israeli, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, but they're also attacking former scientists like big brains. Imagine killing the dude that quit. Imagine somebody coming in and sniping the ex-husband, the current husband. Like, bitch, you ain't getting nobody. I'm gonna take your husband out, and then if you try to go to your ex, I'm gonna take him out too. What? Like, they trying to make both of them bros happy. Since I found your channel a year ago, absolutely loved it. Definitely in my top 5. Keep me updated on current affairs. Hey, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you kicking the door in. I get updates from every government the second they release. Something I can update the second I get. Yeah, I try not to just only you see, I don't think I've given y'all any reports from an American news source. The AP is a wire service. The word is a wire service. Al Jazeera is in the Middle East. I went directly to the White House website to talk about what's on the president's schedule for tomorrow. So I do trust some American sources. I just think they're really slow. Like, it's a lot easier for me to go to Al Jazeera, to go to Lebanese news, to go to the Jordanian news sources, to go to the Iranian state TV, to go to people like your boy Agenda Free. Let me see.
A quick thank you to Jay Ford, Allie B.
Yeah, he must be on his research tip for real. I'm used to him like rattling off that stuff real quick. But the thing is like for me, it makes me nervous to think about the consequences of this type of stuff when it comes to other folks who are our close allies deciding that they're going to do this type of stuff. And then you know that we're big bro. We're Unc, right? Let's just imagine that just Iran go balls to the wall, put them goddamn tanks on the ground and just go right through Iraq and head towards Israel. That kinetic energy, who's big bro that's supposed to back that shit up? That's going to be us having to back them up for the Mediterranean Sea with our destroyers first and our aircraft carriers. I just don't want troops to be put on the ground. I don't want I don't want Iran to use any type of cyber capabilities on us here in the States because they think that we are fucking around in the region too much. Flaming says, almost forgot to mention America said we have nothing to do with the strikes in Iran 2 hours before they happened. And Iran released a statement saying that they believe they helped coordinate the strikes. I mean, Flaming, you want to know like my opinion about it? I think we share intelligence. I don't know if we like coordinated like, hey, hit here and hit there. I don't know about all that, but we've been sharing intelligence since after World War II, when all the Jewish people were looking for a home state and then Israel was created. And we started helping them out in the mid 20th century. We've been sharing intelligence with the only democracy in the Middle East for over 60 years. So, I mean, yes, Iran can technically say we helped coordinate it. I mean, yeah, if we gave them some coordination of their nuclear sites in 2018, did we help coordinate the 2025 strike? I would say no. But whatever, bro. Spit your bars, Iran. Spit your bars, bro. PG has an opinion about it. I'll just put your comment on the screen and y'all take it as y'all see fit. The apartment, they say that's the apartment of the president. You're pretty sure. You're talking about on the for these kids. I'm saying kids. I don't really know if they're kids, but we're on the ISNA's stuff. I want them to they should be coming faster with their reporting. I mean, y'all are on the ground. Y'all are on the ground. I've been getting stuff from the Lebanese sources. It's faster than them as well. Unconfirmed reports that, yeah, Bibi cannot be contained. Hey, Bibi Netanyahu, bro. He's just one of them dudes who just, hey, yo, he don't clear. Like 0 F's given. Ever says duh on that. I meant to say that Al Qaeda released calling on all Muslims. Okay. A group hug. Hey, we do need to just do a worldwide group hug. How is Russia reacting to the strike, says Donald? Bro, that's a good question. Let me let's look that up real quick. Russia reaction to Iran strikes. I want to go to like RT maybe. I don't know. I'm not seeing anything. It says world reacts to Israeli strikes. That's on Reuters. Let's go to Reuters real quick. I don't know if anybody else says anything about it. So Bibi is saying that it's a decisive moment in Israel's history. So he is he's on his high horse right now. U.S. Secretary Marco Rubio, we've already read his. The Australian foreign minister, I don't particularly care what they think. The New Zealand prime minister, I know they're two different countries, but I feel like they should just do a joint statement. That's just like America Samoa, right? America Samoa is a territory of the United States, but they do their own government. Or regular Samoa, deciding that they're going to put out two different statements. Just do one statement, bro. We don't need a whole lot of them. Japan's chief cabinet secretary says Japan continues to make all necessary diplomatic efforts to prevent the further deterioration of the situation while implementing every possible measure. That's super duper canned response. I don't see anything right now when it comes directly for Russia. So I'm not sure what they're thinking about it. That's a good question, though. Also, France and Germany said that they will protect everyone. So they say probably. Brian says that Russia probably pissed if Israel hit Shahed drone factories because they get tons of them drones from there. Get all the things that they use to go directly over there into Ukraine themselves. I love that lamp behind me. Which one? Oh, you talking about those lights? Yeah, those things are pretty dope. Zach says, X, thanks for your videos. You've helped me. You helped me put together a good EDC and SHTF items. It's crazy, man, because I literally was just like contemplating a video that I did that I wanted to do in regards to stuff that you need to take with you for if you find yourself caught up in a protest, like things that you should have with you at all times. Let me see if I can give y'all a sneak peek of some of the stuff that I filmed today. I don't even know if it's going to show. Yeah, it might pull up here. So here, yeah, like I filmed this earlier. Unedited. Raw and unedited. Let's see. These are some of the items that I'm thinking about, man. Like just some of the suggested items: pepper gel, fixed blade, flashlight, first aid kit, boomstick, etc., etc. So, you know, literally just got done pumping that out, and then I see this all go on, and I say to myself, maybe that's something that we should talk about as well. Because I think that, as I mentioned before, I mentioned this in like a coffee EDC video probably a few months ago, if not last month. I think that when it comes to shit hits the fan and prep type stuff, it's not just natural disasters. It's not just economic collapse. It also has to do with other stuff that's going on around the world. And so, you know, I think that that's something that I always think about. So when I look at this perspective from Iran and Israel, I don't look at it from like who was right and who was wrong politically. I particularly don't think I can influence the political decisions because men are going to be macho men and they're going to do what they do. But I do think about it like, what could that mean for us and the energy that we have to pour into defense manufacturing if we have to get dragged into another war or something similar to that. Let me see this video here. Actually, let me pause this. AP likes their damn little ads, right? Like, God dang, bro. Is this the same video? I thought they had another one. But yeah, so that's the type of stuff that makes me think about like overall, like what are we gonna have to do about it? I like this post right here from, I thought I saw it come in from Dude. Let me look up what Dude said. Let me skip this ad and see if there's something to listen to.
D.C. is preparing for the June 14th military parade to honor the 250th birthday of the Army and the 79th birthday of President Donald Trump.
Overall, this is like a big recruiting event.
Bro, he looks like a nerd. I used to hate wearing my glow belt like that. Like just straight up did not like wearing my glow belt like that at all. The Army is notorious for wearing they shit like that. Dude says Title 10, Section 12406 of the U.S. Code allows the president to take direct control over any state's National Guard at his discretion. Dude, I partially agree with you, bro, but there's 3 conditions to take over the Guard. To take the ready reserve from a state using that title, there's 3 conditions that have to be met. First, they need to declare a national emergency. Second, you need to be able to say that that state is an imminent threat of foreign invasion or they're currently being invaded by foreign. That doesn't have to always apply, but that's one of the contingency natures of it. Or you can say that it's a, like an internal revolution, right? And then third, you're supposed to only use the amount of forces needed to carry out the mission. And the reason that you need those forces is that because the actual agencies themselves can't handle the job, i.e. ICE needs support, the FBI needs support, the U.S. Marshals are being overrun, then the president can either use Title 10, like you mentioned, or he can invoke the Insurrection Act, like what was done when Rodney King got his ass beat down by 4 LA police officers, and then they were acquitted. And after they were acquitted, LA just blew the roof off their entire goddamn city. And George H.W. Bush declared the Insurrection Act, and he took over the California National Guard. However, the then governor asked him to do that. So I kind of agree with you, bruh. Kind of agree with you. X, I overlook it. X does a great job keeping the politics out of the commentary. I never can tell if he's picked a side. Man, I'm just picking the folks that's going to keep my pockets right, my family safe, and a lot of times I'm an independent voter. And I have voted every election that I'm eligible for since I was 18, since 2004. The only elections I did not vote in was in 2010 in November for that. That was an off-year election. I was in Afghanistan and I didn't know how to get my ballot and all the other type of stuff. It was the only one I missed. I always vote, whether it's congressional races, city, mayor, everybody. And I voted for Democrats, Republicans, independents, and I read everything. I want to know what the railroad commissioner is going to think. I want to know what the judge is, how many people the judge is going to lock up. Is he locking up pedophiles? He is. Oh, he got my vote. I'm looking at everything. So you can't get my vote because of the letter next to your name. You can miss me with that. Israel is targeting Iran's nuclear sites, according to Benjamin Netanyahu. I think they're targeting a little bit more than that. The board of governors at the International Atomic Energy Agency censured the nation for the first time in 20 years. And Iran announced they were going to establish a third enrichment site. And I think that is what pushed them to pull the trigger, metaphorically, literally. Israeli military chief says that army mobilizing tens of thousands of soldiers. Tens of thousands of soldiers currently being mobilized with an S, because this is not America. In a televised address, Israeli military chief of staff Yair Zamir said the army is mobilizing tens of thousands of soldiers and preparing across all borders, as he warned anyone who tries to challenge us will pay a heavy price. What? People of Israel, I can't promise absolute success. The Iranian regime will attempt to attack us in response. The expected cost will be different from what we are used to. Y'all ever seen that movie? Is it called Monster Machines? Let me look that up real quick, man. I think it's called Monster Machines. And remember the city of London on that movie, Monster Machines? Or maybe, what was it called? No, City. Hold on. Cities that fight one another movie. Mortal Engines. Y'all remember that movie, Mortal Engines? Okay, so y'all remember on Mortal Engines, the city of London, they prided themselves on just eating up other smaller cities, just gobbling them up. So the city of London was humongous, and they would gobble up other little cities. That is what I imagine the people of Israel. Now, they're not gobbling up other cities, but they are okay with letting Benjamin Netanyahu just talk his shit, bro. Like, they're just kind of okay with just letting him talk his shit. This is London about to suck up this little city in front of it. And everybody on London was just cheering. They're out there treating it like sport. They're okay. Whatever you want to do, bro, we got your back. I feel like the people in Israel just be telling Bibi to just spit his bars. They be like, Bibi, man, talk your shit, bro. And then his commands get out there and kind of do the same thing. Yeah, I mean, that's hey. Israel aims the Israeli attacks aims at dismantling command and control in Iran, Al Jazeera correspondent reports. Here's the crazy thing. Who in the world can allow their chief scientists, some of their chief officers, to be taken out in assassinations and not be ready for it? This lets me know Iran did not know this was coming, which I'm a little confused by. That lets me know that Israeli intelligence in Iran is God tier, because you're not stupid, Iran, or maybe y'all are, I don't know. But if the macho, the 800-pound gorilla of the United States is pulling non-essential personnel out the region, y'all couldn't put your heavy hitters underground in some bunkers? Y'all didn't foresee this possibly coming? Like, the last time we pulled this many people out the region is a story I told you guys that happened to me personally while I was in the region in 2012. In 2011, 2012, we got the order. They didn't give a where you were in the country. They told us, you need to get your ass back on to the ship. I was in Jordan by myself in Amman, which is 3 hours away from Aqaba. And I was sitting at a police station, as I mentioned before, and I was sitting there waiting for my captain to come, not bail me out per se, but in essence, yeah, kind of bail me out, right? And so while I'm sitting there waiting for it to be, quote unquote, bailed out of jail, I get a call on my cell phone, because they didn't have me in a cell. They just had me sitting on a bench by the front door. I just wasn't allowed to leave. Like, I get a phone call on my government cell phone from the ship that tells me, yeah, stop waiting for Captain Detto. His name was Detto. It says, stop waiting for Captain Detto. We've already contacted where you're located. They're going to let you go. You need to get your ass back to the Iwo Jima right fucking now. I'm like, hold on, what? It's about to be dark. You want me to get back to the Iwo Jima right now, bro? Let me tell you something. So I am in Amman, Jordan. Amman, Jordan is up here in north central part of Amman. I just came back from the Dead Sea the day before, floated in the fucking Dead Sea. I went to Petra a couple of weeks before that. North of this is Syria. The drive from Amman to Aqaba is 3 hours, bro. And I was by myself. 3 hours. We're not supposed to leave the city of Amman after dark for OPSEC and for the preservation of troops, especially when you were there by yourself. I was in Amman by myself, out of uniform, purposely growing a beard, trying to blend in and act like an African. And they rushed everyone out the country because of what was going on with Syria. They feared that the Syrian civil war was going to spill into Jordan. That's the last time we had a major shakeup of the whole region like that. So you mean to tell me, Iran, when you see America pulling their troops out fast in different parts of the region, and they haven't done that in 13 years, y'all just let y'all just chiefs and y'all big hitters just sit around drinking they mimosas and shit? Bruh. Y'all already knew what the damn deal was. Y'all should already knew what the deal was. I wish I knew it. I wish I could understand what she was saying, but okay. Yeah. So she's basically explaining like they blew our shit up, man. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't even like ready. But they blew our shit up, bro. I don't need to unmute him, but you can see the building behind him just all torn up. One thing I've noticed about any country I went to in the Middle East, any country I went to, it didn't matter if it was Lebanon, if I was in Jordan, the men there are always running around in chaos. And I always feel like people don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's just always hands getting thrown, people yelling and shit. People can't drive. And this is not a generalization. This is when I was in Kuwait, when I was in Bahrain. This is when I'm in Jordan. It didn't matter where I was at. If it was in the goddamn Middle East, I could predict how the men were going to be acting in those areas, which is funny enough as it is. Let's see what's going on over here with Agenda Free real quick.
With this crime, the Zionist regime prepared for itself a bitter and painful fate, and it will definitely receive it. That is from Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei.
So, message from Supreme Leader of the Islamic Revolution to the great nation of Iran. So, from my understanding, I missed what he just said a few seconds ago. So, they're talking about Israel. The Zionist regime at dawn today opened its dirty and bloody hand to a crime in our beloved country and revealed its evil nature more than ever by striking residential centers. We saw that. We saw evidence of residential centers on that Twitter page. The regime must expect severe punishment. Bro, spit your bars, bro. Spit your bars. I mean, I don't know if I believe it, but spit your bars, bro. The powerful hand of the Islamic Republic Armed Forces will not abandon him, God willing. Several commanders and scientists were martyred in the enemy attacks. Their successors and colleagues will immediately resume their duties, God willing. Bro, they destroy your nuclear sites, man. Y'all just, at this point, you just putting shit in a statement. You know what I'm saying? At this point, you just saying shit.
Oh, breaking news. Who is reporting this? Let me make sure the source here.
Spit your bars, bro. Now you got me on the edge of you edging me, bro.
You know, I want to confirm that.
Come on, man. You edging me, bro.
It's not huge, but it's interesting. Oh, here it is. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Okay, well, while he's confirming that, let me go back to some of y'all's comments real quick.
Well,
here we go. Hold on.
Israeli N12 News' Amit Segal reports that an Israeli official says the operation will last at least 2 weeks.
Bro, if they're saying it's going to be 2 weeks, I mean, like, imagine, because you got to remember when Israel went into Gaza, I don't think they gave a time frame of how long that shit was going to be. I don't know if they gave a time frame, which they should have took their asses and defended themselves. I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm just saying. She says that. She's saying, motherfucker. They blew up our shit. I mean, hey, listen. I don't need to know, you know what I'm saying, Pashto, Arabic, none of it, to just know that she fucking spitting her bars, bro. You know what I'm saying? It says, does it make them easier to engage if they run around like this? No. That's just them when they're not in uniform. Like what I saw in Afghanistan, they don't run around. The actual soldiers that are putting the rounds down range, they don't run around like that. I'm just talking about the dudes in flip-flops with dirty feet, or people that's just running around doing the most. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to sound misogynistic. I'm just telling you my firsthand experiences. This video captures destruction following Israeli attacks in the residential area of Tehran. Bro, hold on. Look at those. Look at all that glass blown out. I want to know, like, the casualty rate for just civilians. One thing I want to know is, okay, so we know Obama was the droner in chief. Okay, he used drone strikes. I agree with him using drone strikes, but he did take out some civilians. All right, but does Israel not have the drone capabilities like America does? What I'm saying by that is, like, did y'all have to hit the building and just take out all these babies? And so that does concern me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just like a tinge, right? Like a little bit. Because I know for us, we have the ability to wait till you get into your whip and hit you on the road. I don't know.
بود خاموش شد این بالا از ارتش خاموش شد.
Okay, so they over there still building this shit. Iran's briefed on Israeli strikes, so told the sources, aims at dismantling control. So listen, so it's kind of more the same, but this is what I will say. I think that this is it's a concerning thing for me when it a concerning thing for what I think about when it comes from my family. I'm oftentimes thinking about just like me personally, I'm not necessarily eligible anymore for the military. 39 years old. I did all 8 years of what would have been my active and ready reserve. I just did all 8 of them. Right. I'm still below draft age, but you know, I'm not the guy they're looking for. But I get concerned for people like my little brother who is 10 years younger than me, who's in like incredibly good shape and stuff like that. I get concerned about younger men that I know who are like 12 years younger than me. And I know right now we have 1.5 million people active duty in the military, but we're still struggling for recruiting. I know recruiters now who oftentimes have trouble hitting their numbers. They're giving waivers for all sorts of shit. They're going back to the late 90s of giving waivers for not having a high school diploma. They haven't done that since like 1998. And they're back to doing that type of stuff. So I just don't want the possibility that we be drugged into something in the Middle East, because it's not just blood that is spilled when we send people over there, but we also have to start thinking about, do we turn basket weaving factories into bullet making factories? Like, what does that mean for our manufacturing here in the States if we shift our attention to another war? What does that mean for our prices of our oil and gas if we have to shift our attention to another war? I remember having a Cadillac in 2010, 2011 and being slapped in the dick of how much that shit cost for me to fill it up, bruh. That thing was costing me all sorts of money to fill up my car back in the day. It was all sorts of money to fill up my car back in the day. So this is the 2 cars that I owned when I was in the Marine Corps. I had a Pontiac Bonneville and I had a Coupe de Ville, a 1992 Coupe de Ville Cadillac. And I had these in 2009 until 2013. I had both vehicles. When I got these hoes in 2009, gas wasn't that fucking bad. But by the time I got rid of them, I was paying over $4 a gallon at times. You know why? Because it was a lot of shit going on in the Middle East where oil production was affected. So a lot of people that are just kind of like not really sweating it too much, not really worried about it too much. Why aren't you? Why aren't you? Because this type of stuff in the region makes things jump all over the place. Oil's already up 4% since yesterday. Like, oil's already up 4% since yesterday. Now, it takes a very long time for the price of oil to rise and that trickle all the way down to the price of gas. I know that. I understand that. But the point being is that this was before the strikes. This was June 11th. The strikes happened technically June 13th in Iran. So now what happens to the region? Iran got a lot of effing oil. Now we're not necessarily supposed to be getting it from them, but they allowed planes to fly over their region as they took stuff to other places. So like, we should be concerned about that type of stuff because the price of oil just went up to like almost $70 a barrel. When I was paying that much money in my Cadillac, the price of oil was $103 a barrel. I remember that shit. Because I was young and I didn't understand what that meant. Like, for real. President Trump has already stated that he's frustrated with with the recent rise of oil prices. He said that today. Bro, they could have got a better picture of my boy. And when I say my boy, if you're the president, you're my boy. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. I'm going to support the president. All right. So I'm saying my boy as in like, bro, he looks sleepy as fuck in his picture. Bro, he looks sleepy in this picture, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn. Reuters. Oil is up 7.41% as of today. Field trip. Let me look that shit up. Oil up 7.41. Yeah. Well, it says why the empire. Okay, I'll keep looking for that because I don't see it yet. I'm pretty sure that you're pretty spot on with that. Let me see if they got anything else here. So she's still spitting her bars here, and I'm hesitant to click on some of this. Let me translate this. Gross. Okay, so the agency is monitoring deeply concerning situation in Iran. Agency continues. The agency is blah blah blah. We're also in contact with the inspector. So now they're talking about the inspection for the nuclear sites. Somali president, he's in Iran right now. Interesting. Let me see if they got any updates on Twitter about this stuff. Make sure ain't no titties popping up on Twitter and get my whole page shut down. Let me do that real quick. So, okay, so here, listen, this is the first thing we see pop up on Twitter when I refresh. The Iran military. Remember, we didn't initiate it. That's what they're saying. First off, whoever's a part of y'all social media team is just trash. Y'all should be like all over. Like if I click on your page and y'all aren't posting every 3 minutes, y'all are trash. Okay, so blood for blood, they say 12 minutes ago. IRNA reports the chief of staff of the Iranian armed forces is currently in the war room. Contrary to rumors, has not been harmed in Israeli attacks. So they're confirming that he ain't dead. They're using the word martyr. They're pushing that word hard in their media. They're pushing that word hard in their media. I don't know if I can show that. Hold on, let me look at this on my without put it on YouTube. Okay, so if y'all go to this Twitter page, I don't think I can show this because they're showing dead children. Yeah, they're showing dead children. Well, at least they found a dead child. That's a little hard to look at. So then they now they're starting to flex with these goofy ass uniforms, but they starting to flex with these old ass goddamn rifles. I ain't shot one of those since I was 2008, but they starting to flex. You know what I'm talking about? I thought they would be putting some goddamn Dracos. I thought they would have Dracos. You know what I'm saying? Never be the one to invite someone to fight. Do not be the aggressor in war. But if someone calls you to battle, answer the call and show no laxity in sacred war. Bro, y'all social media, y'all gotta get your bars together, bro. If y'all gonna speak in English, you gotta get your bars together because that's not gonna be nothing yet. X wouldn't worry about a draft yet until true commitment to the. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Iran has said they will attack oil infrastructure if nuclear sites are attacked. And that Israel's not known for their oil, so whose oil are they going to attack? Whose oil are they going to attack? That's what I'm saying. Hey, Cali Hiker, bro, you got me nervous, bro. Now you got me nervous. I had an 86 Chevy. CUC is it Cuck? Diesel. During that time, almost bankrupt me going to fill that 35-gallon tank up. You know what's so crazy about that Cadillac I showed you? That was my weekend car. I bought that from an old lady in Florida. I lived in North Carolina. I was stationed in North Carolina. I found this old lady in Florida. She was selling the car for $999. I flew to Cocoa Beach, Florida, and I gave her $1,000. Let me tell you something. Do y'all know this broad made me sit in her living room while she walked around the house to give me $1 change? I was like, lady, hell yeah, give me that shit. Bruh, she made me sit in the living room while I waited for $1 change. Then I had the vehicle towed to North Carolina because I wasn't trying to put at that time, 12-year-old vehicle on the road and try to drive it to North Carolina. But that was my weekend car. Bruh. Some of the stuff that, they social media they spitting their bars a little bit, bruh. We cleared the rats den, nothing left to hide. You know what I'm saying? They trying. Your characters got to get better, bro. But they trying, bro. They trying. So Iran military is fired up. Israelis said that they're mobilizing their military. The Netanyahu just came out with a statement. This is what I think, some stupidity coming in from some of our people who have well, first off, Lindsey Graham did serve. Okay, I will give him that. He was a JAG in the Air Force. But you old as fuck. You can't serve no more. You ain't never had no kids. You ain't never been married. You ain't got no sons that's going to be in battle. Now you over here spitting fucking bars, acting like a freaking dork. Game on, pray for Israel. What are you talking about? Okay, boy. Bro, this is not like sport. I understand you want to support your I understand you want to support people that are our allies, but I know Ted Cruz probably saying some crazy shit too. He's my senator. I can already imagine he's saying some crazy shit. So let's see.
Developing long-range ballistic missiles at a rapid clip. They tested a
Bro, I don't really be fucking with Daily Wire like that, but his fucking microphone be getting Grandpa excited.
ballistic missile just this week that carried a very
We ain't about to watch an hour of this shit. I'm just wondering. It looked like I thought he was gonna have Ted Cruz on. Okay. Let me see what he's saying real quick.
Senator Ted Cruz of Texas. Senator, thanks so much for taking the time.
Ben, good to be with you.
So just a few moments ago, you tweeted out, President Trump has been clear that Iran must completely dismantle their nuclear capacity. Iran has...
Okay, he about to give me a political answer, so I'm not really interested in listening to that. But I can understand that, man. Everybody is kind of like, you know what I'm saying? You said he was strong on point? Okay, Ryan, hold on, man. Let me listen.
Pray for Jerusalem and pray for our America. Let me say to every one of your viewers tonight who is a person of faith, please tonight pray for Israel. Pray for the people of Israel. Pray for Jerusalem. And pray for our American servicemen and women who are in harm's way, who are in bases in the Middle East. And I want to say something very, very clearly to the Ayatollah. If you attack America...
All right, bro. I feel you. Let me see what...
Given President Trump the middle finger, Israel's...
He described some incredible successes they're winning in this war tonight. Successes taking out the head of the Iran.
Bro, that's some horrible lighting. I've never seen Ted Cruz look that old. Okay, hey, listen, I can understand, like, just these American politicians wanting to kind of support what's going on and all the other type of stuff, but, you know, it's interesting. Iran is set to declare war on Israel. They are currently planning retaliatory strikes. Ted Cruz has admitted that Iran gave Trump a giant middle finger. Remember, Trump tried to blame Biden for Ukraine. Okay, so who is this guy? Okay, so he's very political. Let me just read the video. Let me just watch the video. Bro, y'all's alarm systems or y'all sirens, y'all got to work on that shit. Hey, Iran, y'all got a lot of stuff to work on out there, man. Your social media need to get their bars together. We need more people that's like reporting. So, yeah, that's a big thing for me personally. That's a big thing for me personally as I think about that type of stuff and what's going on overall.
The two allies share virtually all the intelligence on the side.
That's the thing, is like, I agree. That's why Iran is trying to say we facilitated it, because we share a lot of intelligence with one another. We share a lot of intelligence with one another. And so is it fair to say, this is why I'm nervous about cyber attack? Because listen, Iran does not want to try to pull their dick out and measure up versus America. That's not smart. But Poindexter hackers and cybersecurity and attacking our infrastructure and our grid and stuff like that, they'll try that. They'll try that. Their hackers were trained in the same places that North Korea's hackers were trained. That's the type of stuff I concern myself with. So when they think that we're sharing intelligence with one another, which we do, which we are, that's why they have their panties in a bunch about the stuff overall.
On Iran's nuclear program. The two allies share virtually all the intelligence on the subject, but they often interpret that intelligence in different ways.
Yeah, Israel interpreted that shit and made a strike. What does America do?
Said officials.
Yeah, he's on top of that shit as well. I'm just still surprised that this is just for me personally. All right, I'm not trying to criticize. I feel like I was a president. I need my sleep or whatever. But man, President Trump be awake, bro. He be awake. I'm surprised they're not in the Situation Room right now. Just go ahead and coming together and figuring out, like, they got one thing on his official schedule for tomorrow. One thing they've already put a lid on for today. And today they were when a lot of this stuff went down, they were still at the congressional picnic. So let me see what Al Jazeera is reporting, because they're coming with like the most up-to-date stuff. Okay, so the biggest thing that they attacked the capital city of Tehran, military sites in the surrounding area, Natanz, south of Tehran, location of Israel main uranium enriching site, Tabriz, the location of major oil refinery. That's why oil prices may be affected. The city of Isfahan, south of Tehran, Arkhman, another city I can't pronounce. So they basically just hitting everywhere. Diet Coke on Diet Coke is on high demand, he says. All right. Third wave listen. So the first wave was those jets. Second wave happened about an hour ago. They're starting their third wave now, bro. Bro, you ever had somebody on your neck? I used to be a Marine Corps martial arts instructor. And I'm an idiot now that I'm 39, but when I was 23 years old and 26 years old and 27 years old, I prided myself on never tapping. Because if I'm an instructor and I'm trying to teach you how to do this move or that move, and you get me into a blood choke, I didn't tap. So there was some times I was put to sleep. All right. But you ever had somebody in your neck before and you just don't know when they're going to stop? You ever had that feeling before? If you ever been in a fist fight, I've lost a tooth in a fist fight, been knocked out in the Marine Corps. Now a third wave of strikes is happening on Iran. Israeli fighter jets has just begun a third wave of attacks targeting radars and air defenses in Iran. The New York Times reports, citing two Iranian officials. We will begin more information when they have it. So Israel is not stupid. They're not stupid. They don't want the opportunity. They don't want the opportunity for Iran to do a retaliatory ground strike, air strike. I'm pretty sure they ain't got no navy that's about to cross these canals and come on over to but they might have submarines in the Mediterranean. I don't know. U.S. Senator says that Iran-Israel war is disaster. They're already calling it a war? Somebody's already calling this a war? Is it a war already? Would y'all categorize that, right? Democratic lawmaker Chris Murphy. I like Chris Murphy. He has a level head on his shoulders for the most part. Israeli strikes are clearly intended to scuttle the Trump administration's diplomacy with Iran. Okay, maybe. This disaster of a Trump administration Netanyahu's making. Okay, so he's political. I mean, hey, they are constantly thinking about different things that they're going to have to keep up with, man. Gunny says, second degree McMatt black belt instructor retire. Rah. Hey, listen, I wasn't a black belt, bro. I was a brown belt. And yeah, I got some black belts I was trying to not tap for. They put my ass to sleep, man. Blood chokes. Put my ass to sleep. Didn't want to tap. A top general of the Republic Guard has been assassinated. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, Jack, man. Yeah, so this is the thing. Like, I don't know if they need to declare war. So, like, for us in America, we have to declare war. The Congress has to declare war. The president has a lot of longitude and latitude to do strikes to protect what he believes to be American troops and interests and stuff like that. But to declare war has to come from Congress. In Iran, I'm pretty sure one person declares war, either the supreme leader or whoever the new leader of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. I'm pretty sure it doesn't take a whole meeting of a bunch of folks. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure it doesn't have to be down like that. But I mean, you know, we shall see. We shall see. Guys, I thought this was just a interesting time to jump on to kind of see what was going on with this. I'm going to edit this video about stuff I think you guys should take with you for a protest, and then I'm going to go 20 toes with Mrs. X. But if anything else interesting pops up or I think is motivating to talk about, we shall do that. If this is your first time stopping by, man, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well. If this is not your first time stopping by, a fifth wave, bro. I'm so behind, Flaming. Bro, hold on. I don't even want to go nowhere yet. Hold on, because Flaming got me, bruh. Because you're obviously, Al Jazeera must not be on their shit. Fifth wave strikes. Where are you getting your news source from? Israel on X. Fifth waves strike. Okay, so this is coming from Israel radar. Fifth wave of strikes in western Iran underway. Second wave, fifth wave. So were the fourth waves a dud? Nah. So I think this might be interesting to talk about as they continue to do more, right? Yeah, but Buck, yeah, they plan on doing a retaliatory strike. I don't know what that's gonna mean for them, but they plan on doing it. Does sending Marines to a location count as starting a war? No. Congress declares wars. There's a lot of places that Marines were at that weren't wars. So when I was in the Marine Corps, I would deploy. I was not an operator. Let's just get that clear. But I had to write contracts for operators. I would deploy with operators. Sometimes they would send me in countries because I wasn't allowed to carry cash. I wrote contracts, and I would have a disbursement Marine with me that carried cash. We would go into countries, and I would write contracts with people that didn't speak English. They would sign the contracts with blood in their fingers. And then after they signed the contract that we had translated into whatever language they spoke, whether it was Eritrea or if we were in the Middle East, we had it into Arabic, or if we were in Morocco and they speak French or whatever, I was having to write contracts and get them translated to all the languages. We would buy stuff and pay for it with cash of the denomination of the country we were in. And if they want, and if they can get American dollars, they would take it because it was more valuable. I can't tell you how many times I was buying goats because Marines, I'm not allowed to buy goats to eat, but there's so many times I'm forward deployed with operators. There's no females allowed to be around. We don't take showers for a couple of weeks, and they're supposed to use the goats to practice sunken chest wounds. Right. So we would buy goats. We would shoot the goats, practice sunken chest wounds, and then we would eat the goats. So that happens all the time. And we were in countries that we were not in war with, okay? But we still were doing operations in those countries. Israel said Iran was days away from being able to build 15 nuclear bombs. Does Iran have enough material to build one, and would they use it? Van, in my opinion, I think they have enough material. So uranium, I don't know if they're getting it from Russia or if they're mining it themselves, but they have to enrich the uranium. And then once they enrich the uranium, the big brain scientists have to be able to weaponize it into a bomb. Were they close to it? Probably. I don't know. The Iran nuclear deal was ripped up during Trump 1.0. So they've been working on it since then. Oh, I do follow Ryan Grimm. Yeah, I follow Ryan Grimm. Seeing a bit of potential collision. If protests escalate, our country's eyes may be distracted long enough for Iran to feel emboldened to do something really dumb. What are your thoughts? Well, protests are going to escalate. Friday or Saturday is going to be stupid with this No Kings protest. It's going to be stupid with people all over the streets. I think President Trump is going to put National Guard all over the place. But I don't think it's going to be a big enough distraction to distract the DOD. Pete Hegseth, you know what I'm saying? I'm assuming, I think Pete Hegseth can walk and chew gum a little bit, right? And so when I interviewed, here's the thing. I interviewed Josh Smith, the owner of Montana Knife Company. And I also have I text messaged and I had a phone call with Tim Palatori. Tim Palatori was the lawyer for Pete Hegseth while he was going through the confirmation process. Tim Palatori, he used to be President Trump's former lawyer when it came to the Mar-a-Lago documents case. I interviewed him on my channel when it came to a lawsuit. I was text messaging him in regards to Pete Hegseth because he represented him during the confirmation process. Listen, you don't have to agree with Tim Palatore. You don't have to agree with Pete Hegseth, but I do believe he has the ability to walk and chew gum. And so does his lawyer, according to my sources. So, you know, I think that even if we have a lot going on within the states, we still have the ability to be able to identify threats that might be going on. Because I'll say this, you know, one of my buddies works for the CIA, and he was deep in Ukraine. And so a lot of people that work for the CIA that are doing operations secretly in Ukraine are white, right? It would be weird to be a CIA and look like me and be embedded in Ukraine gathering intelligence because you stick out like a sore thumb. But we have CIA operatives all over the world. We have them in Poland. We got them in Ukraine. We have the ability to identify stuff that may be going on. So Gunny says cyber attacks in Iran mobilizing their proxy terrorist group against the United States. What I foresee Iran responding with. You know what's so crazy, Gunny, is that they have a lot going on in the region, right? So they're funding a proxy war in Yemen. They're funding Houthi rebels all over the place. They're funding stuff going on in Gaza. I don't know, did they pull that back so they can get ready to defend and do their own type of stuff? Maybe. I could foresee that. They're mining it themselves, says Flaming. I could see that, yeah. But they got a lot of going on, man. They got a lot going on. You think Saturday would be wild enough to just stay home? I mean, listen, I can't stay home. I got shit to do. We're having a friend coming over for dinner. I got to go get all the shit for that. And I live in Plano, Texas. Okay. I pulled up the map to see where the protests are at. There's some fucking protests near me, bro. So the kit that I'm doing the video about is the shit that I'm carrying. The shit that I'll have on me. So your state might be different. I'm in Texas. I can carry a weapon wherever I'm at. Right. But when I lived in North Carolina, I could not take a weapon to protest, even if I didn't intend to be at the protest. So it depends on your state. When I was in North Carolina, my concealed carry explicitly did not allow for me to carry a weapon at a protest. What if you didn't know you were going to be in a protest? So you need to check your local state laws. If you got shit to do, bro, pull up. But if you can stay home, like Ryan says, stay home, man. That would be my recommendation. Hey, what up, man? Renex Afterthoughts is for the woke, and I'm here for it, bruh. Let me tell you something, man. I want to get back to my Man Cave Mondays. I've been pumping out a lot of content. My regular job has me busy AF. I don't do this full time, you know. But yeah, I can foresee them pulling back on some of the operations they got going on throughout the region so that they can fund their own stuff all day, every day. Let me see what's going on real quick. Hold on. I thought he would be reporting on that fifth wave. I guess he's still gathering intelligence. Interesting. See, Jess says, would it be wrong to use strategic tactical equipment to alternate location and possible construction items that may be left out? I'm asking for friends that need a new patio. So strategic tactical equipment to alternate equipment. I don't know if I understand the question per se. My bad. Just say I'm a dunce. I'm felt it. I didn't get it. I'm in Washington, red country, CCW license. Washington State or Washington, D.C.? I'm assuming you're up there in like Renton area, Seattle area, something like that. I heard the U.S. And Israel know they have nukes already. You know what, G-Ball? I could see that because this has just escalated so quickly. It's June 12th. June 10th and probably June 9th, they were moving people out the region. News agencies didn't pick that up until the 11th. Because one thing is, I will say this. News agencies do report the news. But there is a gentleman's agreement sometimes to protect government troops. So if a news reporter gets a scoop on June 9th that people are being moved out the region, there is sometimes a gentleman agreement like, hey, can you not report that till the people get out the region, please? Like, what the fuck over? We would like our troops not to be harmed. So I can see them knowing that they already had that type of stuff. Thought you had to be 21 to CCW. Maybe it's just my state. Yeah, I think you do. In North Carolina, I was like 27, so it didn't really apply to me. So if that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, guys, I'm going to wrap it up this time, though. I just got a text from Mrs. X. I already know what the deal is. So hopefully y'all have a good one, man. Keep up to date on that type of stuff. Anything interesting going on, I will try to report it back to y'all. But for the meantime, we will speak soon.